Hi, so I just wanted to demonstrate a Redis cache that I implemented for my Amazon clone project. So everything is essentially the same, but I added a Redis service here. So it's deployed in its own pod, and it has its own cluster IP here, and it is connected to the inventory service. So the reason why I added a Redis cache is because I saw that the way that I designed it, I was hitting the SQL server quite a bit. And if this was to be scaled, there would be millions of users, and millions of users would, make a call to the load balancer, to the inventory service, and then hit the SQL server. And that doesn't really make sense if there's no updates to the inventory. Then this data is essentially the same, and we should try to use some cache to reduce the calls to the database. And so that's why I added the Redis cache. So what will happen is essentially in the initial load, it would call the inventory and display all the products. And then someone will make an order. So that's why this is here. They make an order and then they put that order in the message queue. The inventory service is listening on the message queue. Whenever an order is created, it will basically input that or take that message from the message queue, take that order, and it will update the inventory. So it will go to the SQL server database and it will update the new stock. So how much, if let's say they bought 5 shirts, it will update that stock so that it'll be like 5 fewer than it already was. And at that point, we want to invalidate the cache, so the cache gets cleared, so that the next time they do go on the homepage and they search for a new product, it does return back an updated set of products. So I can kind of show some of the code here. So if I go, this is my inventory service. So if I go to products, this is basically our get products here. Just delete that. Okay, so essentially we are kind of just trying to reach for the cache here. And then if it is null, then what we're doing is we're getting the products from the database, so that's the repository, and then we're setting the cache, and then we're returning it. But if the cache is full and it has something, right? Then what we want to do is return the cached value. And we want this to be hit more often than not, just so we can reduce the load on the SQL database. And then the way that this is kind of implemented here is that it is basically using a connection multiplexer. So if I go to program, and I'm going to show you where so here is kind of adding a singleton for the Redis here. So it's basically making a long-lasting connection that will last as long as the service is up. And then after we're connected to the database, we kind of create a cache service. And essentially in the cache service, we are able to kind of create methods like get cache value, set cache value, delete key, which is used to kind of, reset the cache. Okay, I can kind of demo it right now. So we go here. I can kind of show the containers first. So if I go to inventory service here, so the initial kind of load we're going to be getting the products and hitting the database because we haven't cached it. And after we hit the database, we basically load up the cache. And so at this moment, the cache should be set. So if we go to the Redis cache here, and then we can even do exec. It's taking a bit of time here. Is it working? Okay, so here it is. Okay, get products. Yeah, so the reason why you can't really read it is because these are URLs to some of the images, but you can kind of read some of here. So like, it's basically serialized, like in a string format. So this is like one of the products right here. So this is like product number 73, kitchen island or something, or lighting for a kitchen. And so if let's say we want to buy something, so let's get earrings. Let's add 4, and then we're gonna check that out. Place order. Right. And then we can kind of look at the network here, or actually, so at this point the order is made. So we can kind of go and check. So if we go to order service, it should, yeah, so this is the order service. So sending message, product total quantity 4. So it's kind of sending the order in the message queue, which means in the inventory service, it should have received that message, and it does, and it deletes the cache. And I can kind of show you where that is in the code. Right, so if we go to event processing, essentially what the event processing is that whenever the inventory service is listening to the message queue, once a message is processed, it will basically be processed by the event processor. And so here we are updating the inventory, and then we also want to invalidate the cache, because since the inventory is changed, we want to invalidate the cache so that the next time someone searches for a product, they get a fresh list of products. And so if I go back to Amazon here, and then we go to inventory service, it should be hitting the database again. And then if we just keep refreshing, it won't hit the database again, right? Because it just does this once, just because after the first time, it's just getting it from the cache at that point. And so I can do this one more time to because I forgot to show the database, the Redis cache. So if I do this once more and the order is placed, I can actually show you that the Redis cache is actually erased. So at this point, if I go exec, and then I go get products again, it should be empty, because after we create the order, it deletes the cache. And that's all I really wanted to show. I am pushing this code, so you can go look at it and how I implemented it on my GitHub. Yeah, thanks for listening.